evening, sweet world, and welcome to Bubble Wrap, recapping the NBA action from Wednesday, August 12th, down in Disney World. Shout out to everyone joining us live right now on YouTube, and to everyone downloading these podcast classics on the Athletic Network and Apple and Spotify, wherever you get them. I'm J.E. Skeets, and joining us here tonight, as always, it's Tass Mellis.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Tassie. We got the bearded one, Trey Kirby.
Heyo.
Hey-yo. We've got the international man of mystery taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
Lily, and last but not least, making this magic happen, JD.
Hello.
There he is. And here we are for another Bubble Wrap, our 14th consecutive night of recapping the NBA games and news. We're actually going to play Is This News tonight. Got some good headlines, some juicy ones to sink our teeth into. We'll also make some predictions for all of the teams. 4 of them still hoping to make the MegaBowl on Thursday. Big day in the NBA tomorrow. But let's quickly go through these games. There was only 4 on today. And if my math is correct, I mean, right before we jumped on here, we're trying to figure out together, like, hey, is this series official? I think this one's locked in. Can anybody jump? Who's got the tiebreaker? Blah, 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 blah. We think the playoffs are basically set except for who the Lakers are going to play once, we finally figure out who the 8th seeded is. In the East, it's Bucks Magic, Raptors Nets, Celtics 76ers, and Heat Pacers, though we don't know who has home court advantage in that one yet, but they're playing each other.
Nice.
And then in the West, with after what just happened here tonight with the Clippers picking up the win over the Nuggets, it's going to be Lakers against the 8 seed, Clippers Mavericks, Nuggets Jazz in the 3-6, and Lee, by God, you called it, my man. Thunder Rockets, hashtag Thunder Rockets. You've wanted to see it for a long time. In fact, you were making predictions months ago, I think, saying that the Thunder are going to upset the Rockets in the playoffs here. So you're going to have a chance at it because it's happening.
Yeah, well, I may as well make my prediction now then, I guess. But technically, though, right now, the Thunder are in the 4th spot and the Rockets are in the 5th, so it won't technically be an upset if the Thunder win then, will it?
Yes. Well, actually, that can still change in theory.
Yeah.
I guess the Houston, they both have a game still to play, so Houston could be the 4th seed with a loss from OKC and a win from Houston. It doesn't matter. I think we would still take that as an upset, Lee. That would be fair, especially because you called it months ago. But again, quickly through these games, let's start with the Rockets. They lost tonight despite a monster game from James Harden. The Pacers got the win. 108-104. The only interesting thing that I want to get into from this game, Tass, was a tweet of yours. We're jumping right to tweet of the night. Tweet of the day from J.E. Skeets here. I almost dropped some eye emojis on it, Tass, because I read it. I was like, wow. Does Tass have a point here, or is Tass overreacting? What's going on here? Tass, your tweet. Guess we're not going to see the best of Oladipo this season. Okay. Any chance he pulls out of the playoffs? Wow. Talk me through your thinking, concocting that tweet, my man. I'm excited to hear what the other guys think too, but we got to start with you. It's your tweet. Like, you really think that's a possibility? The guy, I know after, being pretty wishy-washy, whether or not he was even going to play in the seeding games, he plays. He has not impressed all that much. Team's still racking up some W's though. They're in the playoffs, of course. And you think maybe he could say, all right, you guys are in? All right, you good? All right, I got to go. I got to get out of here.
Yeah, I think the chances of him pulling out are slim. I think they would increase if TJ Warren can't play because he also has plantar fasciitis like Domantas Sabonis has. I guess plantar fasciitis is contagious. But the plantar fasciitis thing shouldn't slow down TJ Warren. So is it an overreaction or do I have a point? Probably an overreaction, but I guess it's more about just Victor Oladipo being uncertain whether he's not or not whether he was going to play. So I don't think you can predict what Victor Oladipo is going to do. So it sounds crazy right now because he played. But who knows with Victor Oladipo? I think there is somewhat of a chance and a better chance if they have no chance in the playoffs if TJ Warren doesn't play. So it's slim. Yeah, more of a reach than anything for sure. And that's probably why there was very, very little engagement on that tweet.
Oh, interesting. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't see the likes or the retweets on that.
Yeah, way to bring that up. Really hurts. That really.
Tass is like, that was my worst tweet of the day, actually. I had a lot more engagement on my other ones.
Yeah, for sure.
And I want to make this very clear on tonight's Bubble Wrap. We're not going to get into our actual predictions for these series despite knowing them. We're going to save that for some special podcasts. Again, I said this last night. They're some of our favorite shows we do all year, where we go through each series, ask the key questions, break them down, and then make our predictions. We're going to do the Eastern Conference on Friday, very likely. And then we'll probably have to wait until Sunday just to do our Western Conference one. Again, we have to wait to find out who the Lakers play. But we know the Pacers playing the Heat. Trey, is there anything to what Tass is tweeting about Oladipo? Do the Pacers have a chance against the Miami Heat? Do you think that's favorable for Miami? You know, they won the season series. What do you think?
Well, I think Tass is a lot like Charlie Blackmon. He's batting about 500 on this tweet. We're not going to see the best of Oladipo this season. That seems pretty clear. He just hasn't looked right so far, despite the fact that he is playing. But you have to think he's going to play in the playoffs. But even if Victor Oladipo's there in the playoffs, even if TJ Warren is healthy, which this plantar fasciitis sounds like something that he'll get over pretty quickly, I still think that the advantage lies with the Miami Heat. They just have a little bit of a higher ceiling. Their shooters, I feel like, can get hotter. Jimmy Butler can reach a higher playoff ceiling than probably anybody else on the Pacers. So I would be picking Miami, no doubt, but I'll say that, I don't want to reveal it at this time.
Yeah. Look, no Russell Westbrook in this one for the Rockets, and we'll get to his injury in Is This News. But the game specifically, Lee, I'm not sure how much you watched of it, but I know you were you went on a tiny bit of a rant how frustrated you were with Miles Turner.
Yeah.
And he had a pretty good game for them offensively tonight. Helps when you're playing the smaller Rockets maybe, but 18 and 12 got to the free throw line and stuff like that. Helped a little bit more defensively in this one, even though Harden caught late fire. What'd you think of his game or this one overall?
Well, I'm glad he didn't shoot a three-pointer today. That's the first time in the bubble because he's not a good three-point shooter. He went 4 for 5 in one game, but he just doesn't look like that's a really strong part of his game. And against the Miami Heat, I really don't like the matchup for him going up against Bam. I think Bam is just too athletic at both ends of the floor. So I think the Heat have a clear advantage in that one. Defensively, the real problem I've found with him, he's just been devoured on pick and rolls. And he seems to just get lost a lot, which is a big problem when there's no Sabonis there and he's their shot blocker. And I find teams often just get inside and get fairly easy looks on him. So that's something I think the Pacers have to work on with him. He's got those long arms. He's a tall guy. He's athletic, but he just needs to really improve how he reads the game defensively, I think, if he's going to have the impact. And it's funny because, he thinks he's in line for Defensive Player of the Year, but he doesn't seem to have that respect throughout the league, I don't think, because that's reflected in the fact that he doesn't really get considered in those conversations. And I think, in the bubble down here, I've certainly noticed it a lot more, I think, just with him. And maybe that's because Sabonis isn't out there because it's either Turner or Batadze. And So, I don't like this matchup for the Pacers against the Heat. I think they're going to really struggle. I think the Heat have got too much defensively, too much shooting.
Save it, man. Save it. You got to save your juicy takes, man. Save your juicy takes, man. Jeez. You're giving it away for free, man. We charge for the playoff preview podcast. We don't charge for this one, man.
Look, 10 free throw attempts today. So that's the most he's taken. Do that. Do your own pick and roll, get inside. And I think that's just a better way that he's going to be more effective in their offense than trying to shoot three-pointers.
One more question from the Pacers side of things, though. A little news with them today. We won't put it in Is This News. Nate McMillan getting a contract extension task. Were you surprised by this at all?
I love it.
Loved it. Okay.
I'm happy for Nate McMillan. He is one of those guys. Lee was just talking about Miles Turner wanting to be in the Defensive Player of the Year award talk. Nate McMillan, always in the Coach of the Year award talk, but doesn't get a ton of respect around the league. He's always on the periphery because he does a great job since he's been head coach of the Pacers, but he kind of flies under the radar. So I'm happy for him.
Okay, let's keep it going here. Raptors 125, Sixers 121. This game, and I'm not saying this just because I'm a Raptors fan, so don't drop the damn homer on me tonight because I don't want to hear it, Lee. I'm not in the mood. This was somehow one of the most enjoyable games from the last 14 days. And I know that sounds insane because down the stretch, none of the starters were playing. This was a battle of the reserves. This was a battle of the third stringers. There's a guy named Paul Watson on the Raptors. He was playing and he was scoring. And Stanley Johnson hits a game winner. The Raptors rallied from 10 down. But it was actually fun because the benches were so into it, talking a little trash to each other, cheering on their guys that don't get a lot of minutes. And it was a really entertaining game. I know Trey Kirby, you were excited. You were in the Slack like, well, this is actually quite fun here. Like, well, how are we getting into this game?
This was
game.
The feel-good win of the bubble so far. This is the most Disney-feeling game I think that we've seen thus far. And on a completely related note, Skeets, just a magical design on your shirt. You know what I'm saying? Just completely unrelated, but
NoDunks.com for that bad boy.
But like seeing the interaction between all the starters who were on the bench, Al Horford and Joel Embiid, taunting the Raptors starters on their bench, but they're all smiling and laughing through it, watching all of the deep bench reserves make these clutch plays down the stretch. Paul Watson, like you're saying, scoring. Stanley Johnson carving it up, like dishing assists, getting buckets, that crazy little floater to win the game. It was just very fun to watch. Everybody looked like they were having an incredible time rushing the court for basically no reason at all. It looked awesome.
And Adrian Griffin getting his first career win as a head coach, filling in there for Nick Nurse. I just wish Nick Nurse was playing the guitar on the sidelines while this game was going on. And,
let me jump in there because the production has been phenomenal. Everything, watching it, we've all been enjoying it as we sit at home. It's been great. But I don't know if you noticed Nick Nurse's interview when he was on the mic, there was some sort of delay where it sounded like he was slurring, and he was about 14 beers in. Everything he was saying, Adrian Griffin deserves this, and we should be so happy for him. It just sounded horrible. But yeah.
Are you saying it's possible Nick Nurse was at the pool all day drinking a bucket of Corona? Is it possible? Are we spreading that rumor or no?
Get him a hat with BB on it because he's a bamboo boy.
Did he say, hey, I want to take a day off and just go chill out? We don't care about this win. Griff, this is all yours. And then, maybe he just hung out there, had some fun, and they asked him to do the interview. And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I can do this. Yeah, it was just one slip up. First slip up, I think, of the broadcast. It was great.
Yeah, that was it was honestly a super fun game to watch down the stretch. I mean, again, the Raps getting back into it and them trading buckets and just all these guys, a lot of guys you've never heard of, playing their ass off. That's it. It definitely, there's been some, especially over the last couple of days, but had the summer league vibe, right? That you were just like, oh yeah, this takes me back to the Bamboo Boys and then Vegas here. Oh my God, I can't wait to do a show with the guys late at night. Oh yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do here too. But yep, fun game. And again, great production and great energy from the benches getting into it.
I feel like you could even hear the 76ers bench howling when Raul Neto got a basket late in the game. Like he had like a little take and one, he finished with his left hand. You could hear them going, oh, in the background. Maybe it was dropped in crowd noise, but I like to think it was, I don't know, Matisse Thybulle or something like that.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I almost wonder if the Raptors, with all their hooting and hollering, trying to pump up their reserves out there, because they were doing it first, in my opinion. And then the Sixers guys like, well, we got to start doing it. Could it ignite the Sixers chemistry a little bit better? I know they got the L there ultimately in the end, but maybe there's something there. Though Joel Embiid, I don't know if there's an update or a status on him. He, again, got sort of injured, right? Didn't play a big chunk of the second half. I'm not sure how serious it is at all. Didn't look all that well in the first half, but that could be a case of, Raptoritis. Yeah, Muscala-itis. Yeah. So is there anything out there, Leah? I saw you were looking at it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now, but it was his wrist, I think they were saying.
Gasol gave him a nice hack job.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's nothing to be worried about, but I would say the Raptors bench coming out onto the floor and cheering them on, way better, a better cheering section, way more influential or consequential, or you could just feel it rather than the Sixers who were more in their seats, right?
Yeah, but hold on. Couldn't the officials have given them a tech? Is there a rule that they're supposed to stay in their soccer seats over there? You can follow COVID rules.
I don't know.
I'm sure they're encouraged to stay in their seats. I'm sure.
Well, they gave out a few techs anyway in this game because Kyle Lowry just doesn't know how to have fun out there. He just wants to play to win and murder his opponents. So
heck for yelling and one. Matching up.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, Boozer would have been screwed.
What about his layup to end the first half there? Did you see that where he was just like, I'm so angry here? And he traveled. He took a massive travel at the end, but it was just like, Kyle, just relax, man. Just relax. So, but I mean, he just doesn't know how to. He's a bit like Westbrook like that. Like Lowry just can't sort of turn it off.
You can't turn it off.
No.
You have to take him out completely.
Yeah.
He was diving for a loose ball, then Gasol hit the floor for a loose ball. I mean, you have to take them out.
Someone said he took 3 charges in the scrimmages. So,
What a fool. He would be the only guy at your pickup run.
No.
Charge. You're like, get out of here. Call it charges. Oh, man. Yeah. Fun game. Okay. Let's keep it going. Western Conference team versus an Eastern Conference team. And there was stuff at play in this one. The Thunder beat the Heat 116-115. OKC rallied from 22 back. And it wasn't Stanley Johnson like the Raptors game. It was Mike Muscala, Moose, hitting a game-winning 3. And in doing so, a couple things happened. The Thunder are locked into the 4-5 matchup with the Rockets, as we talked about. And it guaranteed the Sixers get OKC's 2020 first-round pick. So Moose, former Sixer Mike Muscala, helping out the Sixers with that pick. Otherwise, it would have been, I think, turned into a couple second-rounders, if I'm not mistaken, because of where it would have fallen. It was 1-20 protected, but they're getting it. And this one, another huge loss from Miami in terms of, I think it's their 4th time this season they've had a 20-plus point lead and blew it. Now, again, a lot of star guys not playing down the stretch and stuff like that. We had Solomon Hill and Muscala trading big buckets. And I mean, you had that with the Stanley Johnson and other guys on the Sixers I hadn't even heard of, one of them being a Canadian I had never even heard of. It's officially time to start the playoffs when this is going on, but not many days left of the seeding. But anything from this one you guys wanted to add?
I saw that Darius Baisley had 16 points in the 4th quarter, so I watched the highlights, and he did indeed have 16 points in the 4th quarter. He looks great. What a takeover game. A lot of people are saying Baisley and Muscala are the new big 2 in OKC.
Baisley's actually played pretty well down.
He looked good. He looked good. The 3-pointer looked smooth.
Yeah. The one thing I saw from this, I know Worldwide Wob was tweeting about it. I happened to be watching the game when it happened too. Jimmy trucked Chris Paul, Lee. I don't know if you saw this. After Chris Paul, okay, so Chris Paul, he's doing Chris Paul things. I mean, you talk just like Lowry, right? He's, he's swiping at Duncan Robinson. He's talking trash. He's upset with Duncan Robinson. That continues for a couple plays to the point where then Chris Paul steals it from Duncan Robinson, chucks it off his shoulder. I mean, it was damn near close.
Oh, I did see
that. Was funny.
Yeah. So that happens. There's it's Chris Paul showing up Duncan Robinson. Duncan seems a little scared, if I'm being honest. Jimmy, the next time he has a chance, trucks Chris Paul. I mean, just levels him. Chris Paul's playing defense, and Jimmy just throws the shoulder into him. Chris Paul goes flying. It was hilarious how far he went flying, and he got the offensive charge. But Jimmy postgame says, you mess with one of my guys, especially one of our shooters. I love that part. You got to deal with me and everybody else. So Jimmy's sticking up. He was sticking up for Duncan Robinson. If you saw the exchange, again, Worldwide Wob has it. That's what he did. That was the fireworks from this one.
Well, I didn't see that part of it, but I did see the Chris Paul part earlier because, he just can't go out there and just be like, it doesn't really matter the outcome of this game, so we're just going to go out there and play. They have to liven it up. But Jimmy Butler, that's the sort of thing he wants to show the younger guys. Like, I've got your back here. I'll be the muscle if we need it, and I'll sort of set the example because you can see that Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. I can see teams like the Pacers in the playoffs will target those guys because once they get open, man, those guys are money from downtown. So if they know that their leader and their best player Jimmy's got their back, it'll just give them a great level of confidence. And that's kind of Jimmy. That's what he wants to be. He wants to be that guy who's he's got his team. He's got everyone on his back.
Yep. That's phenomenal. That was the biggest hit of the bubble. That truck, undoubtedly, and it was on offense, and he lined up Chris Paul, but awesome. no flagrant call or anything like that. It was done perfectly with some taste. So good job by Jimmy.
And I loved how he didn't react at all either, Jimmy. Like it wasn't like what a truck. Like, are you kidding me? He flopped or he was moving. Like he was 100% sending the message. I am going to take a foul, an offensive foul, because I'm going to truck your ass because you're bothering my guy, my shooter. If it was someone else that can't shoot so well, if it's a high flyer like Derek Jones Jr., okay, maybe we'll let it slide, but not the shooter.
And then he walked by Duncan Robinson because they both walked up together or back on defense, and he gave him the nod. Like, yeah, that was for you, Dunk. Not letting you get dunked on. This ain't Nate Duncan and Danny LaRue. The other thing I learned from this game was that, like when you watch or see guys play, on a pickup floor or a pickup court, you can't judge people by the look of the way they play or how they look. Because Solomon Hill doesn't really look like a baller. He just kind of looks like he's way past his prime. But yeah, huge bucket at the end. And then Mike Muscala, 35 seconds left, big three to tie it. Hadn't hit a bucket, and then hits the game winner right after it. Like, baller for Mike Moose, for the Moose man, who does not really look like a baller whatsoever. No, but he comes through.
Definitely not. Was it Blazely that set up that pass too? that found him, the Moose? I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was. I thought it was a travel for a second. I thought he almost hit the ground before because he didn't put a lot of zip on the pass. If it was him, if someone's in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought it was Darius, but I thought he almost hit the ground. But it got to Moose. He splashed it, and the Thunder win. Okay, final game. It was the one we were waiting to wrap up here. Clippers defeated the Nuggets 124-111. LA clinches the number 2 seed. They will be playing the Mavericks. Jeremy Grant had a good game for Denver, but Clips, despite not having Montrezl Harrell or Patrick Beverley playing in this, I thought this was they looked damn good to me. Like, especially PG and Kawhi had it going 25 plus each. And it was a close game. And then they just blew this one out of the water. Nuggets sort of helped them out. I don't know why they kept posting up Plumlee. Oh my God. It's killing me because we're going to get to it later in the pick'em. And I was the only one to have Denver. But I don't know. The Clippers look solid again, despite not having a full squad yet. We haven't seen actually the Clippers.
Well, yeah, but defensively inside, I mean, Jokic had his way there. I mean, that's where they're in trouble, the Clippers. They just don't have a really strong, big enough guy there with Zubats. I mean, Jokic, he set out, I think, the last quarter there. He had 17 points, 11, but he controlled the game. And if he plays a full game, a normal game, I think the Nuggets win this one tonight because I didn't think the Clippers' defense interior was very good. I thought it was a bit of a problem. And
Harrell would help.
Yeah, of course he will help. He's coming back, but he's not going to be match ready. You don't think for it's going to take him a while to get fit and get up to game shape. And Noah, of course, I mean, he was their hope that maybe he could fill a hole, but he only played garbage time. So that to me is a problem for them. A little bit of an area of concern. Offensively, certainly I thought they were better when when Kawhi and Paul George get going. But if you face the Clippers, whoever that will be in that first round, if you can try to get inside and expose them a little bit, I think that's a key there to.
Well, they're lucky it's going to be against Porzingis, and it doesn't go well when Porzingis tries to get inside. So save it. Sorry. It's a great take. That's a great key point. You're right. Anything from this one though, guys? Tass, anything from Clips Nugs we just saw?
No. I'm gonna save it.
Okay, yeah, you gotta save it. I mean, Lee, did you clip the Jokic full court bomb to Michael Porter Jr.?
No, I saw that. That was a beauty. Why doesn't he just shoot it from there? He can put it on the money so easily. He may as well take a shot.
Hold on. You want Jokic to just shoot it from 80 feet?
Why not? Did you see how precise he is with that ball?
I think he took a halftime heave and he missed.
But the way that he can catch it, gather it, and then just lay it out like that so quickly is incredible. But he had another pass that wasn't full court. It was like this, like he spun it around. I don't know who the defender was for the Clippers into Jeremy Grant. And
that was the one where Doris Burke was geeking out.
Yeah. It was like give me a pitcher who's got a nice curveball on him because that's who it was, man. The replay of that is awesome because you can really see he spins it in there like that. But yeah, he's incredible, and
it's so water polo like.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or like
he had a layup
or something. It's just all one hand.
He had a layup like that on a kind of broken play. Someone got it and just laid it up there too. He just grabbed it and in one motion just flipped it up there as well. He's so much fun to watch, man. I love him. I love Nikola Jokic.
Wow. Okay, save it, man. Save it. Yeah. Look, this could be a second round matchup, right? Clippers 2, Nuggets 3. They could win their series and of course play each other in the second round. So
save it for our second round preview.
Geez, no, we got to get something out here for the people joining us live. I think it would be. I mean, I think I would be picking the Clippers. There's something about the Nuggets. Maybe it's because what happened to me last year. I picked them to beat the Spurs, I remember, and then I think I picked them again to beat the Blazers when they come up short. There's just something about them, despite how much I love Jokic. Michael Porter Jr. raises the ceiling. Jamal Murray's hit or miss. Obviously, he can explode for 30, but he can sort of have a dud night too. I don't know what it is, Trey, but there's something. It's like the confidence in this team I struggle with at times to win, 4 out of 7 against obviously a talented team.
No doubt. They seem a cut below the Clippers and the Lakers in the Western Conference, despite the fact that they're right up there in the win column, really, right? But I don't know. That's the question. That's the thing that makes Michael Porter Jr. so intriguing, is because maybe he could answer some of those questions. Because to me, the thing you're really pointing out is they need somebody who's a little bit bigger on the wing, who can put the ball on the floor and get a bucket, shooting a 16-footer over somebody if you need it. Jamal Murray takes so many of those weird floaters inside and one-footers that even if he's making a good rate, they just don't seem very inspiring, because you're like, what? You just shot it? You just shot it while you weren't even set anywhere? It just seems like you're throwing it up. They don't have a guy like a Kawhi Leonard who can get to a spot, rise up, knock it down. But you see Michael Porter Jr., he's so big. He's got such a silky shot. Maybe he can be that guy. And then he's been bringing it a little bit defensively and on the glass as well. If he's really going to be a player in playoff time, that's huge for the Nuggets. If Jeremy Grant's able to score the way he has been in the bub, then that's huge for the Nuggets. But you just don't have the confidence in those guys to do it in playoff moments yet.
Yeah, they're still young. They need Michael Porter Jr. to basically do what Tatum did in his rookie postseason. Right. And that's asking a ton. There was like that one where I think was it Reggie Jackson was matched up on him near the end of the first half. And they just threw it to Porter, sort of like a pretty post up, pretty far out. He just turned, face, splash. I mean, Tass, you made the comparison a couple nights ago, or maybe it was a week ago for all I know now, but like there's KD elements to him for sure. Like just that silky smoothness that popped out to me. That one, I'm like, yep, that was KD. That's a big, big dude that is silky smooth and obviously has a ton of confidence in his shot. But you're asking a rookie who didn't even have that many games under his belt, who's played well here in the bubble, but like you're asking him to be like maybe your go-to scorer in playoff settings. That's asking a ton, I think. But anyway, we'll see. It could be an entertaining series for sure. They always play entertaining games, as we saw last year too, in a lot of their games versus the Spurs and the Blazers. I have that right? I mean, now I can't remember any.
Yeah, they beat the Spurs in 7.
And then they lost in 7
at home to the Blazers.
That's it.
Yeah, the Spurs kind of beat themselves, but the Nuggets got the victory, and then they lost to the Blazers. Yeah. That wasn't a great showing for the Nuggets last year in the playoffs. But I just wonder how much Michael Malone is actually even looking forward to next season. I know it sounds crazy, but he's playing Michael Porter Jr. a lot, who is going to be a big part of their future. He's playing Bol a lot. And so what's the plan here, man? Are we going to go the big three of Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., and Jamal Murray, and then focus on 2 defensive guys around them, which would be the plan? I understand Gary Harris is injured and Will Barton is injured. I just wonder how much he really is focusing on this postseason, which does sound a little bit nutty with all those talented guys I just mentioned. But it seems like he's just planting seeds. And Jeremy Grant would be a nice fit around there if he could hit the 3-point shot around those 3 guys, because you got 3 scorers. You need sort of defensive guys who can shoot. I mean, you're looking for what everybody's looking for. 3-and-D type guys. Yeah. Jeremy Grant sort of fits the bill.
Had a great game tonight. Mm-hmm. That was one of his best games. I always forget too that Paul Millsap is on the Nuggets. That's been happening a lot to me. I remember I caught myself the other night too thinking, who else do they have? Oh yeah, Paul Millsap. What is going on with Harrison Barton? Are they going to be playing in the playoffs, or are they a wrap? Are they done? Keep feeling every second day like, oh, they'll be back. They'll be back. They'll be back, and just keeps getting pushed. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. All right. Let's get to Is This News? Our first headline, Russell Westbrook. I teased it. Russell Westbrook out after MRI reveals right quadriceps strain. Now, he didn't play tonight against the Pacers. He's going to be out Friday against the 76ers. He will be reevaluated before the playoffs tip next week. Status, though, unclear. Tass, is this news, my man?
Well, first, it's news because Adrian Wojnarowski isn't breaking news here Shams Charania isn't breaking news here because those big reporters aren't in the bubble. It gives opportunities for other people to break some news, which was great. Kaylee Griffin, the Rockets sideline reporter, breaking some news. It felt weird not getting it from Shams or Woj. This just came out of nowhere. Sideline report in the broadcast, and then all the reporters tweet. Russell Westbrook is hurt. Getting it right from the broadcast.
Nice.
Crazy stuff. It's like the old days, I guess. I think, this is very, very big news. Eric Gordon coming back and looking Eric Gordon, I guess, makes it less news. But Russell Westbrook not being in the lineup, if that's the case, I know we're just all we're not in the know here until Kaylee Griffin gives us another report, but we really have no idea how good or not he's going to be. The good news is the guys on the floor look great. Eric Gordon come back. The shot's not there quite yet, but at least he's on the floor. He's a very important part to their team. And James Harden, it's sort of going under the radar because I don't know, Westbrook has taken some of his limelight, but the guy has been balling down there. He's 80% in the restricted area, which is a crazy number, and 78% from the rest of the paint. Well, those numbers were a lot lower during the season. And so I'm talking about those numbers because he should be in there, with 5 spread. But Russell Westbrook, is part of that 5 spread crew. They need that guy. So if they're going to win on offense, they need Russell Westbrook going full force. And I don't know, is something caught up to him? It has him coming down here after contracting the virus and going full force like Russell Westbrook only knows how, somehow giving him an injury that's going to linger throughout the postseason? Because if so, this is monstrous news. They need to be 100% healthy, 100%, because they need to be able to scrap for defensive boards. They can't be killed on the glass. They need to get back in transition. He needs to be as into it defensively as possible because him and Harden are not a great on-ball defender type crew. So, this is big. This is big for especially the way they play.
Yeah, he's like their center on offense. I mean, it's Tucker defensively, but it is him offensively. What do you think, Trey?
Yeah, I think it's huge news. We've seen James Harden offense-led team where he's doing everything. We've seen how far that can go, and it's not quite as far as when he has somebody else alongside of him who's there to take the pressure off, to take a little bit of the burden off. Because, like you're saying, Tass, not only is it a huge effort for Harden to do everything offensively, then on the defensive end for Houston to have any sort of impact, everybody has to be tied in 100% of the time because they play so small and there's all the switching and everybody has to just be on a string. So it's a lot of effort required on both ends of the ball. Now you're asking even more of Harden. Then you're also asking Westbrook to come back in the middle of the playoffs, recover from the injury, and get back up to speed immediately. It's just terrible timing, especially considering they did just get Eric Gordon back. You would think they're trying to get healthy. I mean, obviously that's the point, but it's just not happening right now. The only bright side is every time Westbrook does get hurt, it seems like he comes back about twice as fast as anybody else who would have the same injury. So maybe he's playing by the next time they're out on the court, and we're just worrying out of nowhere because the guy did kind of just go out of nowhere. So we shall see what happens. But if Westbrook misses an extended period of time, the Rockets are going to be in trouble.
Lee, anything to add?
Not really, no. I mean, we just don't know, obviously, how severe it is. And maybe, hopefully, the Rockets are just going to be take precautions here and sit him out. And so he's right to go in the playoffs because this is one of those injuries. Anytime you hear a strain, it's like, wow, this could really inhabit his, prevent him from running as fast as he likes to run out there. And that just affects his whole game. Or it could be just something he can play through. So
he's playing. Put me down as he's playing. He's playing his old team now. Here too.
I agree. I think he'll play, even if it means like he if he's going to play, he's going to play in those first 1 or 2 games. And if that just if something goes wrong, then he's like, all right, fine. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to go out there and try it from the start because I can't see him on the sideline just watching. So, and if someone says, just take it easy for this first game, Russ, he's going to want to get out there straight away.
Oh my God. I hope to God he plays. I mean, like the storylines, they just write themselves with him playing his old team. And then of course, the Chris Paul situation. Yeah. I mean, the guy played with a dent in his face once. I like his chances of at least trying, like you're saying, Lee, to give it a go. And hopefully it isn't all that serious. And I think it was something that he injured like somewhat earlier in the bubble, took some games off, correct me if I'm wrong, but then came back, gave it a go. And then, I don't know. Maybe it's still painful. And then, MRI showing this. So
he's only played 4
games. That's the timeline. Yeah, exactly. So it obviously has been sort of, it's been a lingering thing here. And that's never good for a guy, obviously, that relies on his athleticism like he does. All right, our next one. Well, here we go. We got the news. NBA suspends Giannis 1 game for headbutting Wizards Mo Wagner. Trey, is this news?
I mean, the reigning MVP is getting suspended for a game. He's going to win the MVP again, and he's getting suspended right before the playoffs. It's news, but it's more so news because it is the perfect suspension for conspiracy theorists, because you look at it and you say, they suspended Giannis because Milwaukee plays Memphis in the last game, and Memphis needs a little bit of help here to stay in the MegaBowl. But then you take it a little deeper and you say, no. The league's actually doing this to help Memphis so that they can help Portland in the MegaBowl, because Memphis will be easier for Portland to beat than a 8-0 Phoenix Suns team. I'm telling you, it's the perfect suspension. All it really comes down to is that Giannis is going to for sure be resting in a game that he may have been resting in.
Right. That's why you could maybe lean towards definitely not news, because he was going to sit anyway, but I hear you. I like that breakdown. I like that conspiracy theory there too. Tass, what do you think?
Well, we talked about it extensively on Tuesday's Bubble Wrap, so please go back and give us another view. We desperately need it. No, that would be really nice if you did. I thought it was 1 game. Lee thought it would be 2 games.
Yeah.
Looking back, the camera at the end of the floor definitely made it look more like a 2-gamer. But I don't think it warranted more than 1 game. And I think we're in a perfect spot for him to be able to sit and throw in another conspiracy theory here. Mike Budenholzer, head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, one of his assistants was Memphis's head coach, Taylor Jenkins, last year. So maybe he wants to give his old coach a win, and he probably would have sat Giannis down. But they're playing their starters a chunk of games. They're playing them, 20 minutes a game, and then they're sitting them. I think Bud has always been like that. He always likes to get his guys in that same flow and keep them going. So maybe Giannis would have played 20 minutes. He I don't think he's sat out a game quite yet. I'm not 100% certain on that, but
he missed one. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Did he miss the Brooklyn?
He had they threw it was something to do with his teeth. It was like
he had dental surgery.
He had oral surgery. That doesn't sound like a made up excuse for that was the Raptor game.
No, you're right. That's a weird excuse to me.
They went in the bag for that one.
Yeah. Maybe it's so weird, though. Let's keep that conspiracy hat on. It's so weird that you'd be like, why would we question that? Who would write that down? Lee, Tass said it last night, man. You were pretty adamant. You're like, you were freaking out when we were watching it here on the show. You're like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
And you thought he would get definitely more than 1 game.
Yeah, because it was in a headbutt sense, it was a wind up. That's what I sort of saw there. He really walked in there and just, rammed his head into Mo Wagner. But I did a little bit of research, and a headbutt just gets you 1 game throughout league history. There's been 10 people I found here who have been suspended for a headbutt. The only guy who got more was Nene. Nene got 2 for a game when he headbutted Lou Admonson, but he also made contact with the referee. And then Dennis Rodman got 6 for when he headbutted a referee. So it's
a little different.
So that seems to be the standard here for the NBA is 1 game. But again, I think each case needs to be taken into consideration. And there was no need for Giannis to do it. Absolutely no need. It was a very, very silly thing. However, him missing the playoffs, I think the NBA thought, you know what, 1 game is standard. Let's just do him for that, so then he's ready to go in the playoffs. But
we would like some people to tune in for the Bucks Magic game on Monday or whatever they play.
But that's the other point is the NBA could have said, look, they're not going to lose in the first round, so let's just give him 2 games. But they didn't. Like I say, often when you see guys headbutt, they're sort of clashing over a rebound or something like that, and it's more an instant reaction. Whereas Giannis just walked up and just said, no, I'm just going to do this. And that's where I think he extended himself unnecessarily.
Right. But I think some people I saw, at least on Twitter, saying, especially to your reaction, like, oh, he maybe gets 2 or 3. The head, he walks into him, no doubt, with his head but he does not like a giraffe, like that classic clip of two giraffes hammering each other with their head. He does not wind up his head and smash him. He's not.
Yeah, but it's not an accident what he's doing. It's not. You can't look at that and say, oh, that was unintentional. He was like,
well, let's ask Rex Chapman. Was it a block or a charge? I don't know. I will say this got to be the first time in NBA history that the eventual MVP was suspended for the final game of the season, right? Someone could look that up. I would think so, though. Also, I thought it was very interesting that Woj's tweet about this read head bump instead of head butt. What is the difference between a head bump and a head butt? To me, a head bump, Trey, am I wrong? Sounds gentler to me.
It sounds way gentler. I think to reach full butt status, you got to go giraffe, like you're saying. You got to go huge windup to get the butt status.
So maybe it was more of a bump.
Maybe it was more of a bump. I don't know. It went straight into the ear hole, though. That's the part I didn't like. Go face to face if you're going for it.
Giannis, by the way, Lee, was very apologetic for his bump. All right?
My bad. I had nothing to do with the ear.
He said, quote, it was a terrible action, and that if he could go back, turn back time, and go back to that play, I wouldn't do it. So he I'm agreeing with you, Lee. I mean, he's like, damn, I headbutted him or head bumped him. Like, I definitely, obviously contacted him with my head. And
did he apologize to Mike Dunleavy?
Yeah, that's what I remember. I'll just say this about Giannis is that he's a youngish guy still, but he does have to just keep his composure a little bit because he nearly got into a fight already in the bubble once. He had that thing with Dunleavy when he was either a rookie or second season, so that's fine. But he can't afford to react like that. This is hopefully.
Well, who's the enforcer then on the Bucks?
Well, you can be an enforcer like what Jimmy Butler did. You don't go out headbutting people. You can send a bit of a different message.
Truck him over with your shoulder.
It's a different what Butler did. He's just saying, hey, listen, I'm not. Nothing sort of dirty or malicious about
it's that. Like Tass said, there was some class to it. Some real class to it.
He reminds me of a young Akeem Olajuwon who was a hothead, and that's that. Akeem Olajuwon got chucked out of a game against the Nuggets in the playoffs for touching a referee. Then he beat up Mitch Kupchak. The Rockets won that game. But, young Akeem Olajuwon was known for a bit of a hothead, and he calmed down. So
hey, you want the fire. Like, don't get me wrong. I think
of course you do.
We want the passion. And if you don't have a Charles Oakley on your team, if you don't have an enforcer and you got to be it too, then buy it, then go at it. But I'm with you. I mean, you can't get yourself tossed out in a game 7.
Exactly. And potentially suspended in a playoff series. Right. But he's got big-headed Brook Lopez there. He can be the enforcer. Can you imagine him coming out with his big arms and big legs? Like
Robin Lopez only enforces mascots.
Brook and Robin could do the 2 giraffe clip where they're just headbutting each other. He could recreate that.
The problem is all of their moves are fake. They're all wrestling moves, so nothing actually hurts.
Oh, yeah. Giannis should have tried that angle. He's like, we wrestle all the time in the back. Mo Wagner doesn't know to sell it, man, or he like pop your head back.
Wagner sold it though.
You're right. I mean, I guess
he wanted that suspension. If part of that was the reaction, if Wagner just stayed there, I mean, he was just. He is a bit of an
come on, the man rammed his head into it.
Yeah, you're gonna fall. I mean,
you can't just you can't stand there.
Steven Adams probably would have been like, oh, that's a story. I don't know. One note about Giannis. I saw at All the Bucks tweet, Giannis officially finishes the 2019-20 season with the highest player efficiency rating in NBA history at 31.91, breaking the record that Wilt Chamberlain held since 62-63. He had a 31.82 that year. That's amazing. I know PER, some people, you can poke holes in the stat and stuff like that, but wow, that's pretty amazing when you're beating a Wilt Chamberlain record. Crazy. All right. Next one here. Latest NBA COVID-19 test results return 0 positive tests. Lee, is this news?
Well, it's good news. It's good news that it continues that way for the NBA. And hopefully that will be the case because soon new people are coming into the bubble. And some are leaving, but some are coming. Some are family members and friends. And some other guests are apparently coming down as well.
No, they're not. We'll get to that in a second.
As long as they've got a proven track record of having some sort of historical connection to that person, they're allowed in. But that's going to be, I'm sure the NBA is nervous about this because so far everyone has towed the line and done everything they should have. And if there's been anyone who has failed a test like we saw, missed the test like we saw with DeAndre Ayton the other day, the NBA is not taking any chances. You've got to get tested before you go out and be around other people. So you'll bring in so many more people and kids and relatives and things like that. These people are going to have to follow the protocols as strictly as everyone has so far, because it would be a complete disaster for the league if some family member came in and potentially brought the virus and then spread it through a team as the playoffs start. So obviously we hope that doesn't happen. But so far the NBA has done such an incredible job keeping the virus out, and hopefully that continues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I saw Kurt Helen right today. These press releases are starting to sound routine, but they absolutely shouldn't feel that way. And yeah, there are still a few months to go. And like what you're talking about, I'm a little concerned, like this new, this little safety wrinkle is maybe compromised a little bit with the players' families and stuff coming in and friends. But what Adam Silver and Chris Paul and the entire NBA has pulled off is damn impressive. I mean, it's a simple idea, like, hey, let's just keep the virus outside of our environment, our campus, our bubble. Execution is far from easy. And obviously a ton of money went into this, a ton of planning went into this. And then you need the people to follow the protocols. And for the most part, everybody has. I mean, it's not done yet. Let's not take the victory lap. But my God, it's pretty amazing that for the fourth consecutive week, we're at 0 of like 340 plus players, Trey.
Yeah, they're doing great. The bubble is working. And, at this point, it feels like this phase of the restart is going to work until they bring more people in. And I'm willing to give the league the benefit of the doubt. It seems like they've thought everything through it and has worked so far as they have said they expected it to work. Not to mention the games have been great. The broadcast has been great. I'm feeling positive about the way that the NBA has been handling things so far.
Yeah, Tass, anything to add on that one?
No, sir. I hope everything continues status quo, and the quarantine rules and regulations are just as strict for everybody else who is coming into the bubble after the first round of the playoffs when they come in August 31st, I believe is the line.
Yeah, well, let's get to that. The final piece of news I have here, tell me if it is news. The memo from the league. NBA players must prove, quote, long-standing relationship for non-family members to enter bubble. Lee is already laughing. Trey, is this news?
Oh, yeah, this is tabloid news, baby. This is the no Instagram models rule. It's just so good that you have to prove a pre-existing relationship. So there's going to be some sort of fact-finding mission to it, right? Like, it's 2020. It should be pretty easy to prove your relationships. And you don't want to be zooming with Adam Silver, sharing your screen, and every picture of you is with this pre-existing relationship and you're partying somewhere. Throw in some wholesome pictures. Have matching pajamas. Have a night where you're just sitting on the couch, right? They can't all be party pics. You need to set that wholesome boundary so that they want to invite your guests into the bubble so you can have a great time when they finally show up.
There might be a service here for the Photoshop boys, right? You got someone you want to bring, but you don't got the wholesome photos you need to show Silver. We could get to work. We could throw you into a nice campfire photo or like you said, in pajamas in front of the TV. Sure.
My magnetic lasso is always at the ready.
Tass, what do you think of this?
I don't think the athletes want to mess around. This is all business. And although, there was some talk before the bubble from Stephen A. Smith wondering where the men are going to find their excitement from or their recreational activities from. These guys aren't going to screw around. And so yes, it's in writing, essentially no IG friends coming, but I think these guys all get it. I don't think it's going to be a problem. You're going to be down to 8 teams when they do this as well. And so it's going to be a lot less teams, a lot less people to bring in. There's, I think, 17 hotel rooms per team. So that's like 1 hotel room per player or 2 max. And so there's not going to be, it sounds like there's a lot of people, I guess, but it's going to be families. That's basically what it's going to be.
I have a question. Are you going to be allowed to okay, like like it's us down there, right? We're on a team, and I just have Nora, let's say, and I got 2 more spots. I got 3 more spots. Excuse me. Each player allowed 4 guests. Could Trey, could you guys be like, hey man, can I get some of your extra spots? Are they allowed to do that, or it's like, hey, you use them or lose them? It's
interesting.
You can't give them to your superstar player. LeBron can't bring 30 people if he wants, and the rookies get nobody or something like that. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's a matter of rooms at that point. Like LeBron
maybe
probably does get the first choice of rooms for where his guests are going to stay, and he's probably picking a bigger suite. You can fit more people in there.
Maybe,
Give us a ring, buddy.
I don't know. Yeah, Tass is right though. I think this is overlooked. This is only going to happen when we get to the second round of the playoffs. So there will be another 8 teams gone, but they have to start putting these rules in place. And it would have been really funny to have to write all these rules down and be so diplomatic with how you said them. But there will be a lot more room opening up, and it will be down to 8 teams and then your family members. You're not allowed to bring trainers, physical or massage therapists, personal chefs, hair or apparel stylists, tattoo artists, Lee. I know you're upset about that. Business partners, certified agents, unless they're a family member, because that happens. So yeah, they wrote it all down. And this is a kicker: the guests will have to remain in the bubble. They can't go to the Disney World theme parks. I mean, that's completely off limits. You're breaking the bubble at that point. But the league, like when you go down to your resort in Mexico, I bet they've programmed some entertainment for kids. Okay. There's going to be games and swimming pools, of course, and bicycles and stuff like that. So, the parents can get away for a nice dinner at some weird resort restaurant.
I'm just looking for someone who's really scrolling through all the names of the people who are not allowed to come, all the descriptions, and they're going to try to find a loophole. This is my, I don't know what it is, but someone's going to slip someone else in there because they're going to have to, aren't they? I mean, that's why the NBA puts so many different categories there, because they know that people are going to try to get that extra person in that they don't want. But I think it is a use it or lose it. I don't think they're going to allow people to pass them on, because that opens you up, I think, a little bit more to some chaos. So
oh, for sure. The other thing I read too is players are only going to get one ticket authorizing entry for one adult to each of the team's playoff games when their guests are there. Think about that.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
Now there's some
one ticket per person. No, one ticket for each game.
No. Person. From the way I read it is, at least right now, because there were talk that they might change this, and they almost would have to. Yeah, if I invited 4 people, if I invited the 4 of you guys, I read it like Tass that I only got one ticket, because you got to remember they got a social distance in this arena. They got to keep them separate and all that. That I am bringing. Tass, you get to come to my playoff game. Hey guys, thanks for coming to the bubble. Enjoy it from the hotel lobby or something like that. I'm just happy to have you here in my proximity. Yeah, that's how I read it, at least.
That's crazy. Well, I think
and a small child you're allowed to bring too.
Yeah, you should pick Tass, because he's the only one who has a child that actually fits into maximum, minimum, whatever it is.
That was just so weird. That 32 inches or under. Someone coming in at 33 inches.
You're out here.
Get out.
So, like, how tall is Deuce Tatum?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's about 18 months old, I think. So I'm guessing he's 2 feet, 2.5 feet. So he's right on the cusp.
He's under. He's good.
Good.
He's right on the cusp. But then again, his dad's 6'8", so he might be over already. I mean,
oh man, I hope there's somebody there.
Take your shoes off, son. Take your shoes off, and you're in.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Just hunch over a little bit.
Yeah.
But Tass is right. They're putting out all these rules to make it be like, hey, this is a wedding. We're keeping it really small. It's just going to be people really close, just family. We're trying to do this really small as we can, and that's probably going to work. They're right.
Yeah.
They're like talking big right now, a couple of weeks ahead of time before it's all supposed to go down. Anyways, they're saying, guys, don't even try it. Don't bring a +1 to the wedding that you're not even going to be with in 4 years from now. And we're like, who was that? That's what they don't want to happen. Just keep it to the family. Keep the game small as well.
For sure.
You speak about weddings. Alex Caruso, Lakers guard, said thanks, but no to his sister's wedding back in Austin, Texas, because it was during the bubble. Mm-hmm. He said, sorry, can't come. You think if he sends the invite to his sister, she's going to say, nah, sorry.
Not interested.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no thanks.
Oh, what a rivalry. What a grudge. Caruso family grudge.
All right, we gotta make some predictions for tomorrow's key games involving the Mega Bowl teams. But before we do, a quick word from our sponsor.
Guys, I always procrastinate when it comes to self-grooming. I don't find it fun. But taking care of things pays off. Let me give you an example. Getting ready for bed a couple weeks ago, just a standard night. Gonna curl up, might do a mini crossword and close my eyes. I brush, floss, and decide, you know what? I trimmed up my undercarriage a little earlier, so I'm gonna throw on some of that Manscaped crop preserver. Makes it feel and smell fantastic. That anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer feel nice up against those boxers. As I put it on, Danielle walks by and says, "You think you're getting lucky tonight?" We laughed. And I know what you're wondering. Did I kill that crossword? Yes. Yes, I did. Did I get lucky? No. I did not. But we talked about it. Planted the seed for another time, another day. Manscaped doesn't just help you level up your full body grooming game. It does a lot more than that, as you just heard. And right now, you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code THEATHLETIC20. Is that it, Lee? Is it THEATHLETIC20?
It depends which part of it you're reading.
It is for the first two parts, but we're not sure on the last part.
Yeah. TheAthletic20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with the free shipping at manscaped.com and use code TheAthletic20. And for a limited time, subscribers get not one, but 2 free gifts. The Shed travel bag, $39 value. I saw it in a photo from Trey Kirby today. Looking nice. What were you carrying in that Shed travel bag, Trey?
I don't know if I should say this, Tass, but it was Hawthorne grooming products.
This is like the collab of the year here.
Put an X on it.
Cross-contamination. I appreciate your honesty, Trey. We're crossing over our ads.
I thought he was going to say like fishing lures.
Yeah,
or something
me too.
like that.
Definitely some worms in there. And the patented high-performance anti-chafing Manscaped boxer briefs. 2 gifts coming at you. So go to manscaped.com today and use code TheAthletic20.
Nice.
Right. 5 letters getting lucky in a crossword. What is it?
5 letters getting lucky.
This is hard.
Bonin.
No.
N-I-N.
S. You've got the S. The first letter is S.
Wing.
Lucky.
Score.
Yeah.
Nice one. Good. All right. Man, we're running long here tonight. All 4 teams, guys, back in action on Thursday to close out the seeding games, determine which 2 teams will square off in the Western Conference play-in, aka the Mega Bowl on Saturday for a chance to face the Lakers. First game of the play-in on Saturday, August 15th at 2:30 on ABC. The 9th seed, though, got to beat the 8th seed twice in order to make it into the actual playoffs. That, if it happens, will be on Sunday. So tomorrow's schedule, let's just throw it at you. Memphis versus Milwaukee, 4 o'clock Eastern on League Pass. We got Phoenix versus Dallas, 4 o'clock Eastern on TNT. We got San Antonio versus Utah, 6:30 Eastern on TNT. And then Portland versus Brooklyn at 9 o'clock Eastern on TNT. So all 4 teams are still alive. All 4 teams could still be the 8th or the 9th seed. That's how crazy this is. The NBA is loving this. This is exactly how they hoped it would go. It's pretty simple for the Grizzlies. They win tomorrow, they are in the Mega Bowl playing game. The only question would be what seed they'd have for them. Would it be the 8th or the 9th? Would you have to win once or twice? If they win and Portland loses, they clinch the 8th seed. If both of those teams win again on Thursday, Portland would be the 8th seed and Grizzlies would be the 9th. And then, there's a lot of other, obviously, variations of how this could go. I mean, again, the Suns could get in, the Spurs could get in, depending on whether the Grizzlies and the Blazers win or lose their games. Spurs definitely need to win and hope for any 2 teams to lose to get into the playoffs, play-in tournament. But I just wanted to ask you guys, best guesses here sort of at tomorrow's outcome. Like really, which 2 teams at the end of Thursday are we going to get hyped for that Saturday Mega Bowl game on ABC? Lee, get us started. Who's it going to be? I mean, all these games are huge, but who you got?
Yeah, well, definitely Portland because they play Brooklyn. So they need to win and they're currently 8th right now. So Portland, definitely. Then it comes down really to Memphis going up against Milwaukee and what sort of a team Milwaukee puts out there. I haven't got a lot of faith in Memphis. I think they lose that game. Then it comes down to Phoenix, Dallas. Dallas are obviously in. They can't really move around so much. So I wouldn't be surprised if they rest Luka and maybe even Kristaps. So I think Phoenix actually goes and gets that win and leapfrogs over Memphis and gets it. San Antonio, therefore, can't make it. So,
right. So you have Portland holding on to the 8th seed, Suns going perfect in the bubble, Grizzlies dropping this one in the Bucks, and so the Suns would be the 9th seed. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Tass, what about you?
I've got the same. Yeah, I think the Nets will be chilling, resting guys, and those are their second string guys already. So I think the Blazers, no problem. Grizzlies against this Bucks team. I don't like actually that the Bucks have already lost, even if it was their second stringers, to the Nets earlier in this bubble. So I think they're a proud bunch. You'll see their team out there cheering each other on, and I think the Bucks starters will play a bunch of minutes and then sit down. And I think the Suns will get in there because the Mavs will probably be chilling. So Blazers Suns, I think those are the two teams that we want for in my opinion. I think that's the consensus out there.
Yeah, but that's why I'm worried we're not going to get that.
Oh yeah.
I actually think all 4 of these teams are going to win tomorrow. And if that is the result, and the Suns, despite going 8-0, it'd be so cruel, but they still wouldn't get in, because I think it will be the Blazers winning over the Nets in the nightcap game, the late game, but the Grizzlies taking care of the Bucks. I don't think we're going to see, the Bucks starters getting a lot of minutes. Like you said, maybe the conspiracy of helping out your former assistant coach there and all that, help out the Grizzlies. I think the Grizzlies get the win, Trey. So I think it's going to be Blazers as the 8th seed and Grizzlies. No, it would be the Grizzlies as the 8th seed and Blazers as the 9th seed. Is that right? No.
Well, Blazers are in it right now, so if they win,
okay. So that's right. Yeah. So the Blazers, if they win, are going to be the 8th seed. So what do you think?
I'm with you guys. I feel the most confident about Portland. They seem like they're going to be the 8th seed because they should beat the Nets. And like you guys, except for Skeets, I'm most nervous for Memphis. There's a lot of pressure in a win and you're in game. I think we'll see a little bit of the Bucks starters because Middleton and Bledsoe didn't play this last game. You would think they don't want to be resting that long heading into the playoffs. They'll get a little bit of time. And I don't know. I just think it's going to be a tough game for Memphis to go out there and say, we have to win this one game for the thing we thought we were going to be doing in the first place. That's tough. Does the magic run out for Phoenix? I don't know. The team that nobody really wants to see in the MegaBowl is the San Antonio Spurs. So they'll probably make it there. And then we'll be saying, does it count as making the playoffs when you're the 9th seed in a play-in tournament? Then watch them win the first game. And then we're like, oh, okay. So now they won a game in the play-in tournament. It's kind of like being in the playoffs. And then they're going to win the next game in the play-in tournament. Suddenly the Spurs are back in the playoffs. I'm kidding. I think it'll be Portland actually making it to the 8th seed, the real playoffs, but I would not be surprised if it's Blazers and Spurs.
Okay. There it is. There we got a little bit of everything there. Let's hear from you guys, in the YouTube chat right now. Who do you think is going to at least be playing in the MegaBowl game on Saturday, the two teams? And if you're listening to the podcast later, hit us up on Twitter at NoDunkSync. Should be fun. All right, Will Boy. Honorable mentions: Tyler Hero, Chris Boucher, again, Tobias Harris, Jokic had a good game in pretty limited minutes. But Will Boy goes to James Harden, 45 points, 13 of 21 from the floor, 12 of 14 at the line, 7 3-pointers made, 17 rebounds. Whoa, who are you, Luka? 9 assists and 3 steals. Yeah, it came in a loss. Who cares? Does not matter to Will Boy. Lee, tweet of the night.
Yes, well, speaking of Luka, he picks that up as well because talking about the each player being allowed 1 ticket per playoff game per guest, as Woj tweeted out, with an additional admission for a child 32 inches or below. Well, Luka, he had a little short joke there at JJ Barea. Just at a JJ Barea and just said, "You good?" and gave him a crying face emoji. And I don't think our former producer and still friend Matt would appreciate that, but it's fine. Teammate just having a little bit of fun at the short guy in the team. Because what's JJ? He's what, 5'8" in shoes? I mean,
how many centimeters is he?
Yeah, centimeters. Yeah, he's about 175, I'd say.
Too high.
Somebody fact check him on that. Yeah, I want to know. Know how good Lee's math is. All right. So a little simple tweet of the night. Luka having some fun. Poor JJ Barea.
Oh, he's got Michael Jordan tendencies, like Michael Jordan making fun of Jerry Krause. He is the next Jordan. There it is. Connect it.
177 centimeters. So
Ooh,
too
not
far.
bad, not bad.
JJ,
Man.
yeah, he's not that tall. What does he list at? 5'11"?
5'10".
5'8".
Oh, wow.
He's listed that? Really? I thought he was actually listed even smaller than that. Pick 'em results. It was the Clippers Nuggets game. JD, I hate to do this to you, but I was the lone guy to have the Nuggets. Loss for me. It was close. It was, but the Clippers pick up the win. I'm 7-7. Trey improves to 7-7. Lee and Tass are 8-6. But fuck Mason Plumlee. Fuck Miles Plumlee while we're at it. Fuck Marshall Plumlee and fuck Plums. I am not a Plum fan.
Plums are all right. Don't
Fuck Plums. No. There's so many better fruits. I was so livid with them posting him up and him throwing it away. It's like, what are you doing? You're killing my pick'em here, Plumlee. Come on, Plum Dog.
Instead,
that's an L. All right, Tass, what's our very important, of course, game here for Thursday?
You know what's nice about a plum? It's one bite. Mm-hmm. You can just throw it in there and keep
I'd rather have a grape.
Yeah, but then you don't get a pit you can play around in your mouth with for a while. That's fun. I actually had a plum today, and that's what I did. But the pit broke. I don't like that.
Oh, that's very dangerous.
I had a 2-piece in my mouth for a bit. Not fun.
2-piece plum pit.
So here we are. Thursday,
Yep.
7-game schedule. The battle for 8th in the Western Conference comes down to one night. Very, very exciting. Yeah, the Blazers, it seems like they've got a gimme. They play the late game. They'll be playing for their spot there against the Brooklyn Nets, and it's a 9.5-point spread. We're going to stay away from that. I don't want to do that. I want to pick a winner, more of a winner rather than hey, are they going to win by 7 or 8? So we're going to stick to a couple of games that on the main sites don't have lines. Those other games that we were talking about, all 3 of them, Milwaukee, Memphis, Dallas, Phoenix, San Antonio, Utah. I guess the line makers just don't know who's playing and are waiting it out before people can start laying their bucks on it. I had to go in the deep, dark depths of the internet to find some lines. Yeah, it's a scary place.
Yeah, Jesus.
Not fun. I found some lines on some other sites willing to take your money, and the Bucks and the Grizzlies line out there. I was very surprised by this line, but the Grizzlies underdogs by 4.5 points. I just figured that everybody knows that the Bucks aren't going to play their guys for a long time. It's a desperation time for the Grizzlies. Doesn't matter to the line makers there on the deep dark web. So who's your pick here? Grizzlies getting 4.5 points.
Oh, it's Grizzlies plus 4.5. Oh, yeah. Give me the Grizzlies. I mean, after what I just said, I mean, I've got them winning. I've got them going in. I'm hitting the money line on the dark web. You want my credit card, dark web? Here you go. I'm sure I could trust you, right? You're good. Okay, yeah, let's make some money.
Next thing you know, you're getting emails from plumlovers.com.
Yeah, I got Memphis plus 4.5. Come on, their season's on the line here.
As long as it's not a lemon party. Plum party, that's fine. All right, who you got there? Lee, what do you think?
Yeah, it's so tricky to know what they're going to do there, the Bucks. Yeah, they have to win by 5 points. I think they do it. I think the Bucks cover. I'm not super confident in that pick, but I just feel, they'll get a couple of their other players back. But then the Budenholzer Taylor Jenkins connection there, that's a sneaky one because that happens. I think it happens. So, but I'll take the Bucks.
All right, he's got the Bucks. Trey.
Oh boy, Alberto. I got burninated the last time this happened, thinking that the Boston Celtics were going to sit their guys, and then they come out and just smash the Grizzlies. But I will go with Memphis as well, plus 4.5.
Exciting stuff.
Oh, Tass, you almost gotta take Milwaukee because if Memphis would win, then we'd have a 4-way tie, wouldn't we?
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I think we would. But anyway, make your pick though.
Yeah, I'm taking Milwaukee.
Okay.
It's crazy. It's a crazy one, but that's why their deep dark webbers are good at what they do. It's a tough one.
For sure. Okay, so we've got Lee and Tass taking Milwaukee. They got to win by 5 points or more. And Trey and I are taking the Grizzlies. I'm pounding the money line so I can buy a bunch of plums later. But Trey's just taking the plus 4.5. No, we got them. The Grizzlies have the dogs. All right. Wow. we could be tied. Grizzlies pull this out, at least cover. And then we'll have to make some bets, of course, on the play-in games. That's what we'll do if we're all tied.
We got Friday's games too.
Oh, we do have Friday's games. Yeah.
Doesn't feel like there's games on Friday, but
I keep thinking tomorrow is the end of the seeding. And that
it feels like it should be like.
Well, yeah, it absolutely should be.
It's also our last bubbly show. It feels like it doesn't. I don't think we're doing a Friday show. Not to break news like I'm Sham Sharanya here, but it doesn't feel like we're doing a Friday show.
Well, let me hit you with our schedule. Let me hit you with the schedule before we say goodnight here. Yeah, we're going to record our Eastern Conference playoff preview podcast on Friday. That one will drop on Friday because we know, obviously, the 4 matchups. We know all the teams involved in the Eastern Conference. So, yeah, tomorrow night, we plan on hitting you with one final last bubble wrap podcast for sure because we got to recap all these crazy Mega Bowl games, who's in and all that. So that's tomorrow night. Then you got the Eastern Conference playoff preview on Friday. Saturday, well, Lee, I know you're talking to Derek Harper. You're going to be popping some packs, so hopefully have a little bonus podcast up. But on Saturday when they play the Mega Bowl, we're going to take Saturday off, all right? Our first day off in a long time because we're going to wait to see what happens in that game. It's very possible the 9th seed beats the 8th seed, and then they got to play again on Sunday. So on Sunday, we're going to record our Western Conference playoff preview. It's TBD as to when we'll record it and get it up. We'll either, if the 8th seed beats the 9th seed on Saturday, well, then we can record it on Sunday morning, get it up in a pretty timely fashion. But we might have to wait until the second game, which I think is like a 4:30 start on the Sunday. So it's a little bit later. But once that wraps up, we'll record our Western Conference playoff preview. All right. That makes sense there. I think that schedule is pretty damn good. And then, we're almost into the playoffs. So I don't know what we're doing for the playoffs yet. We got to see the schedule, what they got in mind. Are they going all day action? Or are they going prime time? That'll ultimately probably decide what we do. But keep subscribing to the podcast, guys. Check out the brand new shirt we dropped at nodunks.com. I got it on right now if you're watching on YouTube. Oh, it's a beautiful shirt. Feels real nice. Yeah, feel magical in this shirt. Subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube. Smash those likes like an Idaho potato. And if you listen to the pod on iTunes, leave your boys a sweet 5-star rating and review. So yeah, back tomorrow, late Thursday night, our last bubble wrap. And then we'll get into our playoff preview podcast. We'll have hopefully a little pop-in packs. You're wearing a Derek Harper shirt, are you not?
Well, it's not actually Derek Harper. It's
Rolando. I couldn't see it.
Yeah, it's Rolando Blackman. I couldn't get hold of a Derek Harper shirt in time. So, former Nick and Maverick teammate, Ro.
Okay, so you'll hopefully be talking to Derek Harper at some point on Instagram tomorrow.
Tomorrow, we are scheduled to go at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Ooh, okay. So about 4:30 is when you'll be talking to Derek Harper.
They got a game. They got a game, I think, at 4 o'clock. So,
right.
So I won't be able to keep them for too long.
Okay. So we got a lot of content coming at you over the next couple days. Keep subscribed to your boys wherever you watch or listen to us. Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Just looking at a drink right here, guys.
What do you got?
Thanks for joining us. And remember, a Plum Dog Millionaire. It's a delicious martini. Some gin, some black plum, a little plum wine, lavender soda, and lavender sugar.
Sounds like shit. Brace the night, people.